This is my son. This is my little boy. You took that from me. The world took that from me. Today we make that right.
I made it at the beginning of 2019. So this is pre-George Floyd, pre-everything.
Wow.
I took custody of my nephew when he was 13 and brought him from Virginia to here and put him in a school that was in a very nice part of town, and thought to myself, hey, now he can live his life uninhibited. And then Michael Brown got killed. And he comes to me and says, Uncle Nate, what do I do if I get pulled over on my bike? He's 13, but 6 foot, 6'1", tall, dark skinned, just beautiful young man. And I said, well, if you see a cop come up on you, call me and I will come to where you are. Then I said, don't call me. Don't grab for your phone. I said, you know what? Just slow down, put your feet down, get your hands up, look at the cop so he can see your humanity and see you're not threatening, see that you're young. And he's looking at me terrified. And I realized that I was traumatizing him. And I said, I don't have the answer now, but I'm going to figure it out. And then I went to Ferguson, went to protest when Eric Garner got killed, and just kind of really jumped in with both feet and said, and then the idea came up where I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a film or write something. I didn't know I was going to make the film yet, that I think can be given to young men like my nephew, so that they can see not only what they're inheriting, but they can also see that, like me, there's so many other people that are trying to change the experience and narrative for them as they come into their own as young men and young women. So that is what it was born out of. And the film was, written and shot early 2019. And people ask me, well, wow, like, could you have known that, George Floyd was going to, could you have known that the storming of the Capitol, the insurrection? And I said, this is our everyday. And I think that the more we are allowed to be, we allow ourselves to be pacified by that, by distractions that take us away from that truth, the more we'll be caught in this cycle of being killed with no accountability.
Did you always know you were going to direct? Did you always know that you wanted to tell stories?
I think we all have a story to tell. So I didn't know I wanted to be a director, but I recognized that God put me in a position where I could learn to tell my stories. To be on a movie with, Denzel Washington and the Great Debaters, and for him to allow me to sit behind his directing chair and ask questions, all of those things were seeding this very moment, So while I didn't know that I would be a director, and I don't aspire to show up in a smoker's jacket, like that's not my style, I know that there are things that I want to see happen in the world, which is why, I started the Nate Parker Foundation. And what we do is we put cameras in the hands of young people so they can tell their stories. I have stories to tell. You have stories to tell. There's so many generations that can do, as Nina Simone said, and reflect the times in a way that make us confront what's happening so we can actually heal.
Yeah. Well, you went and got one of the directors who is, to me, I grew up on Spike Lee films, right? Like, he is everything, to me. Spoke life into what I was experiencing as a kid. I know it probably for you as well. So was he the first thought? Like, what made you say, I have to go connect with Spike?
Well, Spike Lee is one of those people, one of those Black, men, elders that realizes he has a responsibility to the youth, to pull them forward, to be a ladder and to be a hand up. And there are other, brothers and sisters like that in our world. He just happens to be someone I have access to. When I first finished the film, he was the very first person that had eyes on it. And it happened to be on the day I flew to New York to show him the film. And it just so happened to be the same day that Eric Garner's killers were not charged. And so I showed him this film with this tension in the air. And when it was done, he turned to me and in his Spike Lee way, he said, let's go. He said, I'm with you. Whatever you need from me, whatever I got to do, the world needs to see this film. If not for him, I don't think I'd be where I am. You said, I grew up on him, and it feels like a tremendous blessing to be able to call him on the phone and for him to support me, or for him to come with me to Venice and to present this film to the world. And if you could have seen the way they reacted.
I heard.
Yeah. It was as emotional an experience as I've ever had. You make a film for America and realize that people all over the world that are experiencing different, similar levels of subjugation, and marginalization, that it speaks to them. So I hope everyone sees it, because the design of the film is to protect life. If we save one life by this film existing, we've won.